So
What do you have planned
before,
next?
before we jump to adventure drives, let's take a poll. We got 4 people here. Who thinks SSC drove 330
Ooh,
miles an hour? I'm putting everybody on the spot.
controversial.
I went right through that one.
I'm not.
What do you think, Sam?
Ooh. Who was it that told him it was 223 or something instead of what?
That was from Race Logic.
Right, Race Logic, right? You know what? I'm going to be a nice guy. I'm going to tend to believe that they did it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some, as Biden said, malarkey going on.
Okay.
But I want to say, what about you, Rob?
Yeah, I want to hear James and Taro first.
Taro, you go first, my man.
I don't know, man.
I mean, that's a really fast time. So, I mean, that speed is just crazy because, I mean, I've seen cars go that fast. Road and track, we used to do, the world's fastest cars and all that stuff. And
yeah.
that, to me, I go, is that really possible? But hey, they claimed it. And now, if they have data to back it up, great. But then now with this controversy, I'm thinking,
There's 2 ways to look at it. Like that you could, and I always tell people, you could put a jet engine on a dumpster and it'll go pretty fast. So you had enough horsepower.
Well, you got to think aerodynamics and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but you could overpower aerodynamics. You could.
Well,
throw,
you could.
Yeah, but you could throw, because you see these like Jeeps doing 200 miles an hour in like a standing mile. So like when you see that, you're like, all right, anything's possible with horsepower. And then you see these guys doing like standing mile events in these 3,000 horsepower Vipers and doing 270, 280, whatever they're doing. Right. So it's not hard to believe if somebody's sole focus is top speed that they can like make an aerodynamic package, put a shit ton of horsepower into it, and then just send it down the road and see what happens. It doesn't mean it's good at anything else, but they can do that 3-minute pull. The engine could be torn down the next day for all we know.
Right.
So I tended to believe that. The 230 seems a little slow because, I mean, how do you possibly confuse 230 and even 300 or 280? I've been and I've driven the Koenigsegg before, the test car that had like the 1-to-1 bits in it and everything like that. And I have a hard time imagining and I think Christian von Koenigsegg is probably one of the most brilliant people probably like around as far as engineering goes, as irrespective of the car world or not. And to have people just go out and on their first attempt walk a car that's had, if it was the first Koenigsegg, I'd be like, all right, that's a different story. That's effectively what happened is they took think of Koenigsegg as a Porsche, where they've been sort of refining the same chassis for 15 or 20 years with a brilliant guy and a brilliant team of people. And now a small company comes out.
There's the Tuatara SSC.
Tuatara, yeah. And just having a small company come out and on their first go, they just demolish the record.
Yeah.
What was it, like 331, right?
It was something over, something over 300. But,
but even like Bugatti says they broke 300. And I believe that Bugatti's a giant company and they've got like unlimited resources. Same thing, giant engine, tons of horsepower. They've got their own testing facility to go out and do this all they want. It was very difficult to believe at first. Did I think it was as low as 223? It seemed a little too slow, but I figured like a 270 or 280 was doable.
Yeah, I mean, 300's quite a feat, right? I mean,
Wait.
Sam, you've gone 300 at the Salt Flats, right? I mean, it's not...
No, I went 200.
200.
3 miles an hour.
That next 100 is the big part.
300's you got to kind of have most of the cars that did 300 when I was there were those kind of almost like jet cars, right?
They're like,
exactly.
Oh
yeah, dude. Not... Even 200, it's really scary, right? On the Salt Flats because it's moving around. So that's what I was thinking. I go, can a car that looks like this, go 300? Because most of the cars I've seen go 300, they're shaped like jet cars, So
even the Bugatti did it. But if you look how long,
the Bugatti did it, and my friend actually drove that when they broke the record. He's a French guy. So, but gosh, dude, I mean.
And that's the thing. It seemed to do it like with such ease. Oh, we just went out and did like 2 runs, and next thing you know, like we smoked everybody.
Yeah.
And that made it like I applauded it when I thought it was verified, but when it turns out it wasn't verified and it just had that awful camera, recording it, which was the worst camera I've ever seen.
Yeah, So it seems like, Rob, you're not convinced.
I'm not convinced.
Nope.
And I was out there when they used to do the speed testing on their SSC Ultimate Aero.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the guys. I like Jared Shelby and who I met out there at the time that was doing it. Rick Doria was the guy they had drive it. I'm a data guy. And when you start playing with stuff like this, you're playing in a competitive field where you have to back up. Like, if you're going to go out and shut down a road and do all this and only have like one source of data, it's really weird. I would have a Garmin in there. I would have my phone recording. I would have I'd have so much data logging going on that's like this matches this, green light, we're good, we did it. And to just have one source and be like, okay, yeah, it's akin to going to a carnival and like throwing a ball and it's like, oh yeah, that went 97 miles an hour. I'm like, no, it didn't, but I like that. No, but then I'm not going to go around telling people I got a 97 mile an hour fastball.
Yeah.
But Rob, you think they did it just for the publicity's sake? If they were lying?
I don't like to accuse people of lying, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was miscalibrated and it was what they wanted it to be. So they're like, all right, let's go with that. And that could be possible, but it's also a small company that is trying to sell cars. So but that is also a possibility, because I've seen so many people in the auto world deceive so many people to make money. I don't really put anything past anyone anymore. I'd like to think, and I don't have a negative impression of Jared Shelby, that's something he would do, but I have no idea. I haven't spoken to him in 10 plus years. So I don't know. It's a car they've been working on for a long time. And the one thing that you do when you have investors, if you have investors or you put a lot of money into something, is you have to sell it.
Yeah, you do. Or you're going to have angry investors, right? So.
Yeah, but I think it was still premature to, go out and publicize it like it was when they didn't have, like you were saying, another test or, average it out, or another person at least, there to verify it.
Like Rob said, maybe they were, like you said, Rob, maybe they got a really good tailwind and they were going quite downhill that they didn't really realize, and they never really bothered to go the other way, right? And they got the 300 miles
I just think that they decided that, like, who's gonna bother questioning this? Because the car, it looks pretty cool.
Come on, I mean, people are gonna.
Well, people
I'd be careful.
If they blurred the speedometer and like there's stuff that, like, how they don't realize people are going to go frame to frame with the video and analyze frame rates and markers on the road. Right, they don't think that people know what cactus is where.
Right.
And honestly, if they did it on a different road where people wouldn't be able to have like matched it up with the Koenigsegg run, they could have definitely convinced a lot of people.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'll kind of believe, but I'm buying into Rob's theory that maybe if they did do it, maybe they thought they did it, but they didn't quite. That's possible.
That's like you're going to be a politician, aren't you?
I
need a yes, no. Did they do 316 average? Sam?
No.
James?
No.
Taro?
I don't think so.
Consensus. All right.
I mean,
adventure drives. We got the important stuff out of the way.